Tune into the podcast and you'll have a real good time. La 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 la. Ooh. Wait, that's not the intro song. What is it? Oh yeah. This is a show with no particular niche, baby. It's always about hanging out. Maybe we'll laugh at some stuff. Maybe we'll learn something new. But it's always about hanging out, me and you. Hi, hello, and welcome to That Thing with James. I'm your host, James, and thanks for tuning in. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. What's up? I hope things have been a little okay for you. A little okay, baby. I got a goose in my ear, a hair on my bum, and it said, "Bub, maybe you should read a little more fan fiction." So that's what we're going to do on this episode. Yes, my children, my precious little children running around. Where are your shoes? Ah, you took them off because we're in the house, just as I taught you. We don't need to track mud in here and make cleaning up any more difficult than necessary. Yes, I am reading some stuff from AO3. I looked back. How long ago was it? Was it a year or 2 years ago? I had 1 or 2 episodes, I think, in which I read some Columbo X Death Note fan fiction on Archive of Our Own, aka AO3, okay? And someone commented a couple suggestions of more things to read. And I looked those up a little bit before hitting record today. I'm recording this on Sunday, May 17th, 2026 in the morning. And not 2026 in the morning, but year 2026 time in the morning. And the recommended fictions I found were very highly regarded. A lot of people recommended these things. However, both were over, at least one. At least one was over 100,000 words. And I gotta tell you, that would require its own podcast altogether. I cannot really justify committing potentially an entire year to reading the same story. We'll see. We'll see. That could be a whole arc. That could be a whole one piece, not one page, but one piece arc. Not saying that the story was about One Piece. It was about, I don't know what. All I saw was the word count, and I said, holy shit, that's way too much for the show. Maybe I will read it in my spare time, and if I like it enough, maybe. If it's worth it, I guess I could commit an entire year of this podcast to reading that, but as of this morning, I'm not leaning that way. So instead, I found some shorter stories, and much like the previous stories I mentioned, they revolve around Columbo. So that gives me an excuse to read some fan fiction based off of one of my favorite fictional characters. So yeah, that's what we're going to get into today. But first, quick business. You can support the show at patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Once again, that's patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. Become a patron, and you'll get access to well over 100 bonus episodes of this show. Are we at like 140? We're at or about 140 bonus episodes, and you can get access to them by becoming a patron. Help support an independent artist, an independent creator, and get peace of mind and a boatload of bonus episodes to boot. And to those of you who are already patrons, thank you so much. You rock. Also, the link is written in the episode description, so you don't have to try to rack your brain and remember that I said patreon.com/thatthingwithjames. I wrote it down for you. I'm trying to make life easier for you. Yes, I have socials that I rarely check. I've got a subreddit. I've got a show email I still haven't checked because I got in the habit of not checking it, and now I'm anxious about checking it. Although I do probably need to check it soon in case, it gets shut down for inactivity. Yeah. So there's all that. Yeah. Anyway, let me get a sip of coffee and let's just jump right in. Just a second. Before we get into this, I do want to note I've not read these things through all the way. I skimmed I skimmed portions of these things. I've not read them through, so we're discovering this together. If my pacing's a little off, understand I'm reading this stuff for the first time. And yeah, I could do quality control, but frankly, I don't have enough time in my day to do that. So let's just jump in here, yeah? This was published on Archive of Our Own .gay. Wait, since when has it been .gay? What the fuck? Archive of Our Own .gay? I had no idea. I'm not a regular AO3 visitor, FYI, so this is a surprise. That's funny. Anyway, this work is written by King Fran Petty, published January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September 8th, 2021. Oh, so COVID. 803 words, chapters 1 out of 1. This is part of a series, apparently. This is part 11 of a series called Walter Leach, the Cannibal, the Parasite, and the Villain. Once again, written by King Fran Petty. Summary. Columbo sends Walter Leach to the Columbo dimension. What the fuck is the Columbo dimension? I imagine it's messy. I imagine it is unkempt. I imagine no one has picked up the trash or the takeout containers. Walter Leach, I looked that up before hitting record, and if that's a pre-existing character, I was unable to find it. It could be an original character by King Fran Petty. So, without further ado, let's jump in. The unkempt man, the light tannish raincoat. See, I'm already hitting the hiccup. This is what I mean when I say I haven't done, quality control pre-reading, because I may encounter some typos, some missing words, some wrong words, and it'll trip me up for a second. So let's start over, yeah? The unkempt man in the light tannish raincoat stood in the doorway. The handsome but vulture-like man in the black and red suit with a bow tie stood smiling with a knife in his hand. The man in the light-colored trench coat spoke up as he put out the cigar in the nearby what? Just one last thing. The handsome devil cut him off there with a grind of his sharp teeth in annoyance hidden, a flirtatious politeness. Don't you mean one more thing, Mr. Columbo? Mr. Lieutenant Columbo? There was one hand behind his back, and his black gloved hand with the knife. In the off other glove, was a cane with a skull on it. He wasn't old enough to need it, but had needed since the plane accident that took his entire family. Vote me, so do. I'm sorry, King Fran Petty, but you did publish this, and I hope you don't see this. I hope no one you knows sees or hears this, by the way, audio listeners, in case you didn't know, this show's on YouTube, so you can see my unshorn face reading this stuff and struggling and, well, scrutinizing, being a little critical, because this is more than just some light typo. This is what the... talk about quality control. I could not bring myself to publish something that's this much in need of another Passover. Not Passover, but you gotta fucking scan your work first a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying I never make typos, but I do make sure to read what I wrote before I fucking publish it. Let's keep reading. The knife was a large butcher knife. He had used it many times, but not to kill his wife. Hey, that rhymed. He had been a weak worm after he murdered his wife. Now, this horrible, messy pest was going to ruin his life, the very same life he hoped to share with his lovely wife. The rhyming. Brought to you by Dr. Snooze. His parents told him to keep by, feeding their own bodies to him after the plane crash. The vulture-like man was rich, you have to know. He come from old money, and his father had said that he wasn't human when he was a butler, but became human when he married into money and eaten his first human heart. Their lives with money were worth so much more than poor's like this lieutenant. They'd spend generations eating this animals like the prey they were. Now this disgusting little mutt was going to bring the last of their kind to extinction. What justice was there in that after he had been forced to kill his beautiful love from the hunger for human flesh? The knife was slowly being raised from behind his back. The man with the cigar suddenly turned with an uncharacteristically dark coldness to him as he firmly sighed. "No, Mr. Leach, I said one last thing." The arm frozen in place in a horrific fear. The parasite shaked, but managed to hide it despite his fear as he happily replied, "I'm afraid I don't quite understand. Please do elaborate." The glass eyeball seemed to fix on him in an unnatural manner. The man with the glass eyeball stepped slowly, steadily, with purpose to each step, as if an ancient horror coming into our reality. He explained in detail, "I saw you do it. I saw what you did to your ex-wife, to all those girls before, to all those people you helped your family kill. In fact, I know who did every crime ever committed. See, that's the thing. It's my glass eye. It gives me this power." Gaze into my glass eye. Gaze into my all-seeing glass eye. See, that's the thing. It's my glass eye. It gives me this power, and it also gives me the power to take people like you off the map, permanently. The monocle was tinted dark with a black O-shaped frame. It was a tiny mirror reflecting upon the man coming closer and closer. The glass eye that didn't blink anymore acted as a tiny mirror to the handsome leech, this polished parasite that backed away in horror. Even lets me see the evil in one's soul. I typically just hope that will free the what? I typically hope that just will free exists. free will. I think it's supposed to be free will. I typically hope that free will exists. Some people even overcome the evils of the past, and I can see it. You see, Lord Sir Mr. Leech, I'm just a regular guy. I don't even use a gun like most of the guys I work with do. They are horrible things, guns. I'm not some elder tyrant god or malicious horror. I give people all the time in the world to confess or repent or change. I go through the clues, and I do this because I normally don't need to do this. The justice system is flawed beyond repair, but it ends in death, where you are going. Well, you'll find it so much worse. You are beyond redemption, sir. So I am sorry, but I have to send you to the Columbo dimension. Columbo finished. To the Columbo dimension. The war? Walter Leech began, but stopped. To the rest of the world, Walter Leech never existed. The Leeches never existed. Everything they done to the world was undone. Children in this town had never been killed at random in the night. Ladies hadn't been assaulted with an axe after they had been dragged to this house, the gloomy mansion that loomed over the town below, as if a grim symbol of the rich people who had it maid's power and terror over the people who lived there. Lieutenant Columbo now stood on an empty hill, overlooking thousands of people that would never realize the unknowable figure that had helped them. He walked away. He went to his car and greeted his dog before getting into the car to drive away. End. Are there notes? Are there notes? Sometimes there are notes and comments. Let's see. 4 comments. Top comment published 12 November 2024 at 11:03 p.m. Interesting. Okay. To which the author replied, I hope you liked it. Flaws? Flaws included, I liked it. It was fun. The Columbo dimension. I don't think this needs another passover. I don't think this needs another revision. It's fine as is. I'm going to drink some coffee, and then we will get into the next one. Also, interesting, ironical, coincidental. This story ended with Columbo getting into a car with his dog. The next story we're about to get into starts with Columbo in his car with his dog. Well, a dog. You'll learn more about it in just a second. Be right back. This story was also published in 2021, albeit on March 23rd, 2021. At that time, I was homeless. True story. I've shared it several times on this podcast. If you haven't heard the story, go back and watch every show from the start of 2021 on, and you'll hear all about it. Let's see here. Words, 1,131 words. Okay, respectable. Hopefully this one had a little more proofreading done. Written and published by Glue Gun. Good name, Glue Gun. Title, Columbo Gets a Poodle. A poodle. Summary. Unable to let a suspect's dog go to the pound, Columbo adopts her into his family. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Columbo was driving more carefully than was usual for him. He checked the rear view mirror. Yep, still there. A little black fuzzball the size of a cat, a small cat. Duchess, it was called, whined anxiously from the back seat. Back at the scene of the arrest, Columbo hadn't given it a second thought. They were going to take that poor thing to the pound, and that ain't where something like her belonged. Ma'am, I'm sorry you're upset, but you see, your father was a very bad man. Duchess made another long whine and pawed at the window. Hey, you're going to meet my dog. You'll like him, even if he hasn't got much in the way of personality. He's a nice, quiet sort of fellow. Maybe not as cultured as you are, but I'm sure you'll get along just fine. Dog? That's Columbo's dog. That's the dog's name in the show is Dog. In case you haven't seen Columbo, go watch it. It's amazing. Dog did not know what to make of her. He had lumbered forward to greet him at the door, but cowed and backed up behind Columbo's legs when he saw Duchess. Dog, this is going to be a new sister. Say hello to the lady proper. Duchess snarled, showing her sharp little white teeth. Columbo scratched his head. This was not going as expected. Until she stopped growling at Dog, Columbo carried her around the house, showing her around. It's a little messy in here, I hope you don't mind. He placed her tentatively on his little green couch across from his black and white television set. You can sleep here if you want, and I'll sleep with Dog in my room. I guess you're probably used to real fancy stuff. I saw that canopy bed of yours. I bet you had a better mattress than I do. I've been wanting to get a new one for a while, but those guys at the mattress store. Columbo continued to talk to the dogs as he prepared their supper. He didn't trust dog food that came in a can. It seemed like he read something every week about something bad going into the canned pet food. His recipe tonight was mostly ground beef, carrots, and oats. Columbo was pleased that Duchess didn't turn down the food. In fact, she ate with great vigor. And Dog, as always, slurped his down. After supper, Columbo sat down on the couch beside Duchess to see what was on TV. Dog curled up at his feet, and Duchess also didn't object. Bend of the River was on with Jimmy Stewart, and so he settled in to watch it. Columbo noticed, looking over at the poodle, that she actually had little black ribbons in her fur, one by each ear. Should I start doing that with my hair, huh? Duchess did not respond. He didn't think she found him amusing. The daycare Columbo used for Dog banned Duchess after one day on the grounds that she was not well enough socialized for the group environment. So he had no other choice but to bring her with him when he was suddenly called in. Although no one objected, it was a little bit of a hassle to carry her around the whole time while he was looking over the scene. It seemed she had separation anxiety and could not be left in the car. So he just tucked her under the collar of his trench coat and supported her body with one hand, the one that was usually reserved for cigars. Jeez Louise, you see what you're putting me through? You want people to look at me strange? On the contrary, Duchess had become the darling of crime scenes, but he didn't want that to get to her head. Duchess just licked her chops and stared at him in that dog way that said, "What are you blaming me for? I'm just a poor innocent guy." About the third time he had to do this, one of the officers suggested to him that he get one of those papooses, like for babies. I think she might object to that, but it's a good idea. It was a good thing Duchess was what they called a miniature, and was able to fit in the little side bag he was able to find. What do you think, girl? Her head stuck out of the top, one paw out of the side. She seemed comfortable, but again, not particularly amused. We'll let it do. It'll do. Okay, well, that's, I believe, end of chapter 1, and it looks like there's a next chapter, Chapter 2. Okay. Let me get a sip of coffee, and we'll continue. Be right back. Chapter 2. Summary. Columbo and Duchess are back, and they have a new mystery on their hands. And pause. Oh, let's read. Duchess whined and pawed at the door of the maintenance closet. What is it, girl? They were in the parking garage of a new office building where an important businessman had been murdered and hung from the ceiling. All the secretaries had seen him when they came in to work the next morning, had given some of the girls a nasty scare. Columbo called the security man over. God, can I get the key to this door here? The guard nodded and efficiently found the right key and unlocked the door. Hesitantly, he also leaned down and fluffed the top of the little dog's head and murmured something agreeable to her, making her little tail wag. She was a bit more friendly than she had been when he got her. At first, she seemed like she considered herself too good for most people and most animals. It must be Dog's complementary influence on her, he thought. The two had come to be good friends, and Duchess likewise acted as his protector from overly rambunctious dogs at the park. Of course, dogs weren't allowed down here, but something about the delicacy of the poodle's manner made it so security guards and other such types didn't want to oppose to her presence. Somewhat different from the way they reacted to Dog in places where he wasn't allowed, which was most places. They were usually almost too embarrassed to say something about the drooling mound. Is that mound or hound? Nice play on words. Respect. They had already looked over this closet, but not while he was with Duchess. She seemed to sense something in that small space. It was kept neat for an out-of-the-way box like that. So what do they usually keep in here? Car stuff mostly, jacks, tools for placing tires. It's a service they do for workers when something goes wrong with the vehicle. That's real nice. I wonder if they wouldn't give my car a once-over. The guard glanced piteously at Columbo's Peugeot, which was sitting parked slightly askew in a spot nearby as if to say, "Not on your life, pal." Columbo looked intently over his notebook and put his chin in his hand. Gee, I think there's something missing here. After a thorough re-inventory, he put Duchess in her purse and continued his investigation through the building, going where the trail was leading him into byways and boiler rooms. This murderer character knew the place well. Notes. To be continued soon. I need to start writing again, so I'm going to bring back this series as an exercise in writing regularly and for fun. Sorry it's so short this time. To be continued. Oh, man. And that was 2021. That was March 23rd, 2021. I don't think this story's getting continued anytime soon. Glue gun. Man. Or they, them. That was kind of fun. Yeah. It's too bad. I wanted to know where this went, because nothing really happened. You're setting stuff up, but nothing really happened. And it looks like they wrote again in 2023, February of 2023, and that was it. So I guess Glue Gun didn't feel like, continuing this series. Ah, man. I was really hoping there was going to be more. What the hell is this? NSFW Alphabet, Lieutenant Columbo by Cumslut69? Hold on a second. Give me a second. Be right back. Okay, we're going to skip over the ABC one. It's long. And this is going to be the last story of this episode, but we're sticking with the author Cumslut69. This one, rating teen and up audiences. Title: A Handful of Columbo Kisses, published May 6th, 2021. Another 2021 one, okay. Summary: A small list of kisses from Lieutenant Columbo. I wonder if I should... Yeah, I'll do it in the Columbo voice. And this one's short, so let's do it. Let's just jump right in. Columbo often gets caught up in his work. Out of his own admission, he can't think of anything else when the little details seem off. It's lots of distracted kisses when he's like this. A quick kiss on your shoulder, a little one on your hand, a kiss against your temple or on your forehead. Mostly when he's headed out the door or doing his research. It's funny because he'll sometimes miss. Like, he'll go in for a kiss on the cheek but end up on your ear because he's watching some news report. Ha ha ha. Oh, Christ. It's 50-50. If he realizes he kissed you in a weird spot, if he does, he'll apologize with another kiss or a little bite or something. I'm just imagining Columbo doing that, depending on how busy he is. When he is off case, you'll mess with him by kissing in the weird places he had but didn't realize. What was that? He'll say, with a laugh and a shake of his head when you kiss his earlobe, or the inside of his elbow, or knee, or whatever. When you're goofing around together, or just roughhousing a bit, his secret weapon is to bombard you with... Oh, no. Columbo's Brooklyn, not Boston. He'll bombard you with kisses all over your neck, all over your arms, your sides. He'll kiss every ticklish spot you have, kisses that turn in raspberries, and then into little nips, and then back into kisses. Columbo won't stop till you're gasping for mercy, and he'll look up at you with a big mischievous grin and kiss you one more time. Columbo occasionally gets called out at random times of the night, mostly before daybreak. He does his best to slip out of bed and get ready without waking you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but he always makes sure to come back and lean over the bed and give you a light kiss goodbye before he goes. How sweet. On the days you can wake up together, you'll sometimes try and kiss him good morning, but he'll always pretend to resist. My mouth feels like a sandbox. Don't care, you'll say, and kiss him anyway. When you pull away, he'll groan, oof, and I thought my morning breath was bad. And then he'll laugh at your pout and kiss you again. And sometimes it's the reverse. You'll wake up and he's cuddled up close to you and ask for kisses. You'll flop over like, not today, thank you. And he'll almost plead for kisses till you give in. Very much like this, but sleepier. Lol lol. You'll plant a sleepy smooch on his face and turn over for more sleep. Columbo hates to see you sad or upset. On a rough day, he'll take you into his arms and hold you tight, kiss the top of your head and stroke your back gently. He'll let you cry it all out and just coo soft little words of comfort. He feels so solid and strong in these moments, you always feel safe and protected and loved. Sometimes, out of nowhere, Columbo will give you the sweetest, most tender kisses, and the only warning you'll get is the most lovesick grin imaginable on his face. He'll scoop you up in his arms and kiss you so gently that it almost makes you goosebump. And it'll happen anywhere, in the middle of a grocery store, while washing the dishes, or just doing any old mundane thing. He just looks at you sometimes with so much awe, utterly astonished that he could be so lucky that he just needs to kiss you right then and there. Sometimes, when things are getting hot and heavy, Columbo will surprise you with how intense his kiss can get. It'll make you swoon a bit, but he'll hold you steady, tighten his grip around your waist, and cup your face in his hand, then to cradle the back of your head. Between hot kisses, he'll murmur something tender or dirty that makes you flush. He enjoys the little noises you make when it's like this. He'll kiss up and down your body, everyone like fire, till he teases out all the soft sighs and moans from you that he can. 5 comments. This is utterly adorable. It's amazing. Thank you for this. This is so sweet. Please continue Snape fic. I love this. Bro, this is so sweet. Columbo kisses for you. Hey, that'll be the title of this episode. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'll try to find some funny stuff for the bonus episode. Hope you stick around for it. Once again, support the show and get access to the bonus episodes at patreon.com/ThatThingWithJames. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.